uncertain for the entire league in general, but you're a free agent for the first time. Have you thought about what free agency might look like for you if you'd like to be back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a restricted free agent, so I think that changes things a little bit, but I've loved my years here in Indiana. So obviously with a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what's to come, but I've built a life here, and I love this franchise. I love the people. I love the fans, so we'll see what comes.
All right, this is crazy. The revelation that Lexie Hall just revealed has Fever fans in a frenzy. Officially, she is leaving Indiana. Indeed, we're discussing the same Lexie who has been Caitlin Clark's dependable running buddy during their debut season's turmoil. She's gone now. And, to be honest, the supporters are going crazy. What on earth went wrong in this situation? What does this signify for Caitlin and the Fever squad as a whole? Before we get too deep, what is your initial thought? Do you believe she made the correct decision? Because let's face it, this one hurts.
Asha tweeted and was just saying a bunch about pride and how proud she was of this team. Have you kind of had similar emotions the last couple of days, and how do you balance that with a very painful ending to the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think like following the game, it's so disappointing to lose. And most seasons end on a loss, so it's really hard and challenging. But I think when you sit back and think about our year and everything that we were able to accomplish with the circumstances that we were faced with.
As you can see, Lexie Hall wasn't just a name out of the blue. When the season went utterly south, she was among the few players who truly played with grit. We're referring to a player diving on the ground, pursuing every stray ball, and performing all those vital little tasks that are never featured on the highlight reels. Additionally, her contract situation was already a little precarious. Since she was a restricted free agent, Indiana might have matched other offers to keep her. However, the fact that Lexie is speaking in public as though she is already packing her bags tells us everything. You don't need a translation when an athlete repeatedly says things like uncertainty and we'll see what comes. That's essentially I'm out of here athletic code.
Uncertain for the entire league in general, but you're a free agent for the first time. Have you thought about what free agency might look like for you if you'd like to be back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a restricted free agent, so I think that changes things a little bit, but I've loved my years here in Indiana. So obviously with a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what's to come, but I've built a life here, and I love this franchise. I love the people. I love the fans, so we'll see what comes. Elliot?
Let's go back a little because her departure wasn't unexpected. To put it gently, the Fever season was a complete catastrophe. It's truly amazing they didn't fall apart in June given the injuries, utterly illogical rotations, and the loud clamor all around Caitlin Clark. However, Lexie was one of the few people who managed to keep things steady. She consistently showed up whether she was starting, coming off the bench, or even playing out of position. Following that is her interview. Her tone practically betrayed her weariness, disappointment, and a firm, I'm over this vibe. She declared her love for Indiana, its supporters, and its people. She didn't, however, express her admiration for the franchise's developments. My friends, that quiet said more than any quote could possibly express. She said, I've built a life here, for example. That wasn't a pledge to stick around. It was a farewell address, cleverly passed off as a courteous response. She is intelligent. She is able to depart without causing any rifts. And the intent, the time. With Caitlin Clark recuperating from an injury, the Fever are starting one of the most unpredictable off-seasons ever. After CBA talks broke down, and there were rumors of a possible 2026 lockout, Lexie, who was actually one of Caitlin's closest teammates, walked away. I genuinely don't know what a huge warning flag this is if it isn't.
It's better. I'm excited to sit down and not do anything for a little bit. Yeah.
For you, what was this season like in terms of the different iterations and the different versions of yourself that you had to play, different roles, shooting, defense, diving, all those different things?
Yeah, I mean, the year, I feel like my role changed throughout the course of the year. I think continuing to just show up as my best self, regardless of starting or not, or playing more on the ball defensively or off, whatever the night looked like, I feel like my ability to adapt grew throughout the year. And that's something that I think I can continue to work on my game, is being flexible and being able to really just do whatever the team needs. And this year, I think everyone on our team was challenged.
Something much deeper was also disclosed in Lexie's interview. She is obviously tired of everything being so disorganized. She talked about how players had to simply come up and play regardless of how the night unfolded, how they had to continually switch between roles, and how the roster was always changing. Translation: not at all consistent. She had no idea which Fever edition she was playing in each match. It's also true, to be honest. Coach Stephanie White was switching up lineups, as if she were trying out different combinations to see which ones would work. Lexie was the defensive anchor on switches one night, a catch-and-shoot expert the next, and a wing guard the night before. For one player who lacks rhythm or a steady role, there is an absurd amount of pressure and instability. Relocating.
Just every single thing we faced, I think, is something that we won't forget. Like the injuries, the playing through people that playing with groups that we are just haven't even practiced with for the first time in games. Like we were faced with so much uncertainty. So I think there isn't like one pinpoint game where I'm like, well,
even yet, she managed everything better than most, and her remarks about being adaptable and adjusting weren't merely platitudes. Lex said, "I kept my mouth shut and did what I was told, in a kind manner." After that, she talks about how delighted she is about Unrivaled. Yes, she isn't going home to simply relax. She is joining the Unrivaled League, a brand new off-season initiative headed by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. And that tells you all you need to know about where players' minds are at the moment, my friends. They just no longer have faith in the WNBA system. They desire something that will increase their prominence, control, and, to be honest, financial gain. There's more to Lexie's relocation there than basketball. It has to do with safety. She is aware that the WNBA may have lockout instability the next season, so why not focus her efforts on a place that is genuinely solid and provides a clear path? It also reveals a great deal about her true loyalty. She didn't say anything negative about Caitlin. She really seemed rather upset when questioned about her, stating that it was very difficult to watch Caitlin battle injuries and be unable to compete. There, you could definitely sense the respect. "I'm staying to help her bounce back," however, was not what she said. Rather, she expressed her pride in her capacity to attend. That's a really elegant and kind way to say farewell. And that's when things start to get really intriguing. Since Lexie Hall is not the kind of person to back down from a challenge, if she is leaving, it indicates that morale is dangerously low. Lexie Hall is one of the most optimistic, team-oriented players you will discover. During that same interview, she stated unequivocally that her competitiveness and will to succeed were her greatest strengths. Therefore, if she is going, it is due to exhaustion rather than fear. Tired of instability, tired of uncertainty, and most likely bored of playing for a team where one star steals the show and the others are ignored entirely. Now, let me be clear before anyone twists that. No, Caitlin is not to blame. However, that is the hard truth. No one else on the Fever matters to the media. Caitlin sneezes, make headlines. No one even pays attention when Lexie dives on the floor for the 10th consecutive time. There comes a point at which you think, you know what, maybe I'll go where I'm actually appreciated. The fan response comes next. As soon as this news broke, social media went crazy. While some fans are devastated, others just say, "It's business. She will be all right." However, there is a recurring motif. Everyone is aware that Caitlin Clark is the one who is most hurt by this, due to the fact that Caitlin's inner group in Indiana was already quite small. Lexie was more than simply a teammate. On the team, she was among her best buddies. They exercised together, conducted interviews together, and were frequently the only two players who remained cheerful following the most heartbreaking defeats. There are now even fewer people in Caitlin's locker room that she truly trusts going into the upcoming season. Not to mention the time of the current CBA negotiations. Lexie made it clear that the league as a whole is unsettled during this offseason. That wasn't merely a casual remark. She was admitting that all players are eagerly awaiting the next developments regarding compensation and even league leadership. As a result, even though some fans are acting shocked, Lexie has likely been witnessing the same mayhem play out for months. She probably made the early decision to walk if things didn't drastically change because she was a restricted free agent. She added that she wanted to improve her offensive game. That's significant because her inconsistent offense was one of the main points of criticism she received in Indiana. Although she played good defense, her rhythm and stroke choice were frequently poor. Once more, most likely as a result of her role shifting every other week. She receives more touches, more freedom, and a faster game that better suits her style when she joins Unrivaled. And excellent for her, to be honest. It's encouraging to see a player take charge of her own destiny rather than waiting idly for a front desk that is obviously incompetent. What does this genuinely mean for the Fever, then? Easy. One of their most important glue players is left. Scorers can be changed, but it's difficult to replace a player who puts in a lot of effort, defends, hustles, never complains, and does everything. Although Caitlin Clark remains the unchallenged focal point of the franchise, there are now even more doubts about her. Next season, who will step up? Who else will protect the Paramere as tenaciously as Lexie? When the team finally breaks down mid-aim, who will be the dependable one maintaining the momentum? Since there were a lot of them games, let's face it, remember that you cannot draft chemistry, so before anyone claims it's okay, they'll just draft someone else. Trust cannot be replaced quickly. Furthermore, rather than being a steady, cohesive unit at the moment, Indiana feels more like a rotating door. Despite the irony of it all, Lexie expressed her pride in the team's efforts to defend those unable to be out there. Given that Caitlin missed a significant portion of the season, that line is really impactful. Furthermore, one of the main figures who supported her will not even be present the next year. It's poetry, but not in a good way. For once, there was a core among the Fever supporters to support. Boston, Caitlin, Lexie, and a couple others. Before it even realized it. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications.